Welcome back, everybody, to the Daily Racing Show here at RacePlazaMedia, and today we'll be taking a look at the IndyCar series. Let's get into it. As always, when we're taking a look at a new series here on the channel, I'll be breaking it down for you guys, what, when, where, and anything else that you might need to know to start watching the IndyCar series. What is the IndyCar series? The IndyCar series is the highest form of open wheel racing in the United States, is a regional championship, so it is only conducted within the US. The Indy series has actually been around for many years, with its first attempt going back all the way to 1905. However, in its current form, it has been established in 2008. One of the very interesting things about the IndyCar series is that it actually has a combination of different types of road and track racing that they do throughout the championship. So they do everything from super speedways to short ovals to road courses and street courses. So you get a big variety of tracks and races when you start following the Indy series. Besides the Drivers' Championship, the IndyCar series also recognizes individual drivers' performance based on the track. So that means there is a AJ Foyt trophy given at the end of the season to the driver with the best performance in all oval tracks. And there's also the Mario Andretti trophy awarded at the end of the season for the driver with the best road or track racing results. Let's talk a little bit about qualifying. Qualifying depends on what type of track is being raced on that weekend. So, for example, on an oval track goes in reverse order based on entrance points. Entrants are teams essentially, and the person or the team with the lowest amount of points will start qualifying first, and then it goes into descending order. Entrants that do not have any points at the moment obviously goes first, and if there's multiple teams that don't have any points, then there's a blind draw who gets to go first. Then after the order has been established, each team essentially gets 2 warm-up laps, and then after that a qualification attempt is 2 consecutive laps completed. For the Indianapolis 500, short also known as the Indy 500, qualifying works quite similar to oval qualifying. However, instead of going in the reverse order, it is actually a complete blind draw who gets to go first. And then instead of doing 2 complete laps for qualifying, they get to do 4. When it comes to road courses / street circuits, the qualifying also works a little bit differently. In that case, the teams are separated into 2 groups. Each group gets 10 minutes to set their fastest qualifying time, and then out of those 2 groups, the top 12 will move into segment 2, and then once again they're given 10 minutes to set the best qualifying time, and then of course the fastest driver is awarded P1, or also known as pole position. When it comes to the points at the end of the race, you can actually win a total of 50 points for winning the race, and then you can also win bonus points for leading a lap or leading the most amount of laps throughout the race. So this is kind of awarded based on your performance, but 50 points is quite a lot. Up until 2023, for winning the Indy 500, you would actually get double the amount of points, but since last year, they reduced it to regular amount of points for winning. However, qualifying for the Indy 500, the pole position driver is awarded 12 points, and then you get points all the way down to 11th, getting 1 point for qualifying in 11th place. Now that we covered a little bit about the race structure as well as what the IndyCar series is, I wanted to, of course, cover when is the Indy series happening. We actually already had the first race of the year happening. However, the next race is coming up on March 24th, 2024. And this year, it has a total of 18 races, including the Indy 500. Where can you watch the IndyCar series? So if you attend a race in person, I checked for the next upcoming race, actually, the one happening on March 24th, I was only able to find VIP tickets, and they run you about $500 a person. However, for the race after that, I found tickets for all 3 days as cheap as $133 for an adult. So that's actually not too bad for getting to watch some racing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. However, if you're like me and you're not able to attend a race in person, there's of course ways for you can watch it comfortably from home. The Indy series is actually covered on different streaming platforms depending on the race. However, it is consistently streamed or broadcast on Peacock. So if you're a subscriber to them, you can, of course, watch it through there. And actually, really, really cool. And you don't see that a lot in other series. You can actually also listen to the IndyCar series. So they have, I believe, a channel on Sirius XM. There's also a radio app. There's a broadcasting app. So there's many, many different ways on where you can watch it. However, I will put the link down below so you can get a little bit more details specifically for you. Now that we covered what, when, and where, I want to talk a little bit more about other things that I came across in my research about IndyCar that I thought might be interesting for you. So first things first, last year's winner was Alex Palou, who won for the second time the IndyCar series. So big congratulations to him, and he will also be on the track this year. Also very interesting, Alex Palou also won the Mario Andretti trophy. So he won the trophy for the best road/street course performance. Now let's talk a little bit more about the car itself. Since 2020, Indy cars actually have something, it's called the aero screen. So it has a little bit of a windshield in the front that was implemented for the protection of the driver. What I thought was also really cool is that I believe the story, how this all came about, was that someone mentioned that these IndyCar racers need some type of protection like they have in jets. And someone was listening to it and came up with the idea. And then in 2020, they started implementing the aero screen to protect the drivers from any type of debris and stuff like that, because those cars go incredibly fast, especially on the oval tracks. They hit an insane amount of speed, which I'm very grateful that they implemented those to hopefully prevent injuries. Now, every car in the IndyCar series actually uses the same chassis made by Dallara Automobili. However, when it comes to the engine itself, they have a little bit more flexibility. You have currently either a Honda engine available or a Chevrolet engine that you can use. Now, for the weight of the IndyCar, this kind of always depends on which type of track they are racing for the weekend. However, it usually averages around 1,700 pounds without the driver in it or any fuel. So the cars are usually a little bit lighter for oval tracks, and then for street tracks they're a little bit heavier. Let's talk a little bit more about numbers and specifically. So an Indy car has anywhere between 550 to 700 horsepower. They hit 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds, and the highest top speed of last year's season was set actually by Alex Palou, last year's champion. He hit a top speed of 234 miles per hour or 376 kilometers per hour. And the crazy thing, that is not even the fastest top speed ever recorded in Indy. The fastest top speed was actually set back in 1996 of 236 miles per hour or 380 kilometers per hour. So that is absolutely incredible. And now here comes the kicker. Indy cars do not use power steering. They do not have power steering. So it is incredibly difficult to control Indy cars. And I actually myself, my car once the power steering failed and it was insane. I just had to roll it down the street to the mechanic, but it was it was not easy. So anyone who has ever driven a car without power steering knows the pain. It is absolutely insane that they hit those high speeds, that they whip those cars around the corner, and they do not have any type of power steering. Actually, there was also Michael Schumacher, who in an interview famously said that he has no interest in participating in Indy because he considers this way too dangerous.
And second, it's too dangerous.
Too dangerous?
Yeah.
Michael Schumacher says, I don't want to go there, it's too dangerous.
The speed you do, that close to the walls, if you have an accident, there is no way a chassis can survive a certain way of having a crash. And
in my research for Indy, I have actually gained a lot of respect for these drivers because I've never watched it myself, and I'm very excited now to get into it because that is absolutely crazy. They don't have power steering. They hit insane speeds, and I don't know. It is very, very cool. And I also actually really like that they do all different types of racing and all different types of tracks, so you get a little bit of everything. If you're not a fan of oval racing, which I still struggle with finding interest in it because I don't think I understand the intricacies of it, Indy kind of gives you a good mix of everything, which is really awesome. However, this also brings us to the end of this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you're excited to be watching Indy, if I missed anything important, or let me know what you're excited for this upcoming Indy series. Do you guys think Alex can win it again? All the usual stuff. And of course, as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you guys here tomorrow at the Daily Racing Show.